Hello everyone, Ken and Loey here. This time I'm showing a bit of Armored Warfare in the background of me doing a reflection of 2019. Last year I did a reflection of 2018, so this is also going to be something that I plan to do every year if I can. So to get started for Armored Warfare anyway, me with my Merkava Tier 9 Mark IV, I'm going to try to get into a battle for the Special Operations. The queue, well, I was not expecting to get into a game instantly. Usually have to wait quite a few minutes to get into a match for that. So for this, I'm going to talk about a little bit about my personal life experiences for this year, but if you are interested in only the YouTube channel side of things, I will put a timestamp in the video description. So with that being said, 2019 was easily one of the hardest years of my life. I found out more about myself in 1 year than I probably have throughout all of my life. I'm actually going to, if it will let me, turn down the...
We're about to start the assault. I hope you made it back. Yeah, I'm in the valley. We're breaching Enigma's network.
There we go.
Good. Have you evacuated the civilians?
So with that, like I said, this has been one of the hardest years of my life, and I have found out things mostly physically about my human body that I have never really thought about, and
Well, we're inside.
it kind of comes down to earlier this year in April, I had gotten a blood clot in one of my legs. So that was definitely an experience that
All right, let's see what we can do about that.
was very painful, for sure. And it was really a shock as well, because of course basically what happened is that I went from walking normally to all of a sudden not being able to walk at all. And obviously that is very shocking. Get in the face of this armada here. Looks like, okay, they took care of the bridge already. So I'm primarily just doing this for actually seeing if I can get some heat kills. But anyway, it turns out that that I have some cardiovascular conditions that make me more susceptible to those. So that is very interesting, to say the least. So I found about that. That was really shocking. But the main thing is going from, like I said, being able to walk normally to all of a sudden, without warning, really not being able to walk at all. Like, that is huge in so many ways, and that Challenger is... Ouch. I guess I'm kind of focused a little bit more on the gameplay than I think I really should be. Trying to get into a position to hide my lower plate here, but it's not really working. There we go. But yeah, so that was a massive change, and that also made it so that I could no longer work at the job that I was doing at, and of course I die from the T-15 Armada. But yeah, it made it so that I could no longer do the job that I was doing, and I was quite happy with that job. I thought that it was going to be a job that I could potentially do for the majority of my life. I was quite happy with the work that I was doing. It was a good mix of being simple but challenging at the same time, if that makes any sense. It didn't really have anything that was like super complicated, and it was a physical job, which is kind of interesting because I kind of feel like my generation really frowns upon the whole physical labor thing, physical jobs. And I was quite happy doing a job like that. And I guess I kind of thought to myself, well, since I know for a fact that I'm not going to be exercising at home, I might as well get a physical job that basically lets me sort of work out throughout the entire day. If that made a lot of sense to me, anyway. Of course, it just didn't turn out that way. So basically, at the point where I'm at, I may not be able to do that style of work ever again because of my cardio system, and that was a mental shock to me that I had gone into the workforce under this idea that, oh well, I'm going to be doing something physical for most of my life, and all of a sudden being like, well, you may not do that anymore, so I might need to go train in like something that I can do in a sit-down job, and that was something that I for sure did not want to do, because like I said, since I knew that I probably wasn't going to do any exercise at home, doing that for my job was my solution for that. And also, as much as having a sit-down job, as much as it sounds like it's an easy thing, there are a lot of health problems that comes with sitting down all day in comparison to moving around and whatnot. And also, you still get mentally tired from doing mental work. So there's that as well to keep in mind. So that was pretty much like the biggest shock of my life, and that also did affect the channel, obviously, when I wasn't able to walk anymore. My computer where I was staying at the time was down a flight of stairs. Well, I was barely moving at all, let alone stairs, so I wasn't able to do anything YouTube related for about at least a month, probably a month and a half, if not longer, because of that. Like, to even do like a channel update video regarding that, letting everyone know. So it was just kind of a mess through and through in that way. Wow, that T-15 has 22 kills. But yeah, like, that was kind of the biggest thing. And going into that, like, it sounded like since I wasn't able to do anything, I pretty much was sitting around all day, and kind of still am. doing nothing but gaming every day. And on paper, yeah, that sounds great. It sounds like I'm living the dream, right? Doing whatever I want every day. But there's a few problems with that. And when you're gaming or doing like what you do outside of work, what you're doing as a hobby and everything, if you do have a if you do have a job at this time, is as soon as you do that too much, you actually start to, well, at least from my experience, I started to lose the enjoyment of doing those things since I'm doing them all the time. And that was honestly extremely stressful. Like, I just did not feel like doing anything because the thing that I would do to have fun wasn't fun for me anymore. Because I was doing it all the time. Like, that's kind of a big thing. Like, a lot of people, including myself until this point, I kind of thought, being retired early and everything, when it comes to a career, that's such an awesome thing, because then you can do whatever you want, you know, at an early age, all the time. Well, that isn't how that works, unfortunately. So that's kind of the biggest problem that I've had with this as a whole, is that the normal stuff that I was doing, I didn't feel anything from doing it anymore. I mean, in the recent months, with me playing a bit more with Warmonger when I can, with like the Path of Exile League and various things, I have gotten to the point where yes, I mean, games are fun, but at the same time, like, it hasn't gotten to the levels that I was before, of course, because overall, like, doing what you enjoy after a hard days of work, like, there really isn't much that really compares to that, unfortunately. So yeah, that's definitely something to consider. So that's kind of the main things. I think I'm probably gonna go on to the channel related things now. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. Like, just that shock of everything and whatnot, that the change was just so drastic. And my blood clot is I know is not even fully gone anymore at this point. I mean, it's still there. It's just I am able to walk for the most part normally, like I used to. So it's no longer really, I guess, a big problem. But since I haven't been exercising as much as I really should be, I lost pretty much like all of the strength that I gained from doing my job. So I basically get easily tired out from doing anything physical and whatnot. So but on the YouTube side of things, obviously, me not being able to do anything because of the blood clot, that was a time where I just couldn't work on any projects. And so overall this year has been kind of a mess, even on the YouTube side of things. And I'm still working on Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, and that game just hasn't... Well, I've pretty much got it almost done, but it's just was such a long game that has been really something that has been dragging on way too long, to be honest. But I have done some other projects. In the meantime, I have done Half-Life 2 on hard difficulty. I've done various different Path of Exile things and whatnot. So overall, I have gotten some stuff done this year, and I kind of feel like I have, to a degree, gotten better at commentating stuff. I think. I mean, not as much as I would like, because I don't actually record very consistently. I kind of typically record all, I don't know, like multiple hours in one session, and therefore I don't actually do it as often as I would need to get the experience that I need. So, but at the same time, I do feel like that I have gotten much more experience too. So there is that. And also I've recently gotten the programs that I feel like really can help me that can really help me produce higher quality content. Is just kind of a matter of learning how to use it, and I have learned how to use Visual Studio better over this time. Like I now can do 1080p videos, and then, well, I mean, I've always done, I think, pretty much 1080p videos, but 1080p videos with a better frame rate and better smoothness, depending on the file size. Like, sometimes I am not able to make it so that I can't always be 60 frames per second. Like, if the file size is too big, then unfortunately I have to tone it down to be 30 frames per second in order to fit it in one video. But overall, I have been pleased with how much better the videos have turned out quality-wise on the visual side of things compared to how they were with using Windows Movie Maker. And then also I have PaintShop Pro, which I haven't actually done anything with. I really need to learn how to use that in order to, if I'm ever going to make custom thumbnails or anything like that, which I was planning to do for the video game reviews that I do, because I kind of feel like I wanted the video game reviews to be at least a little bit more professional than my typical Let's Play videos. Like, my Let's Plays, like, I kind of want to be sort of, I mean, not really focus on the professional side of things and just, you know, go with whatever happens, rather than try to make it look as or sound as good as possible, type of thing. So that's kind of some things. Like, I just kind of feel like, and especially one of the big factors of the reason why I've decided to stay making YouTube videos is that I feel like I have the tools to make much better stuff. I just need to get a better experience using those tools and creating more videos in order to make better commentary overall. And that's kind of the stage where I'm at. And And moving on to that sort of thing, in 2019, at the end of it, the Federal Trade Commission for the United States have buckled down with the whole COPPA thing, the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, or whatever it stands for, with the whole YouTube regulations thing, which, I mean, I really don't know what they even plan on doing until January hits, and then they start doing stuff. Like, it's really hard to say. And I don't know if I'll be affected or not, but if I am affected, well, then I'll have to reconsider. But overall, it doesn't really seem to be doing. I mean, I shouldn't be affected by it, but I don't know. And that was really a fearful thing of what could happen with that, with potential fines and everything. And from the sound of what the law is, it doesn't even sound like it should even be possible for them to go after content creators. But at the same time, it's like, do you really want to risk that? But yeah, like, that's kind of the stage where I'm at. Like, I just feel like going into the new year, 2020, I really want to make a lot more videos and really make some good stuff. I mean, with the Resident Evil 1 remake Let's Play, I think that'll be a fun experience for me. Like, I don't really know exactly when in January I'm going to start it. I really want to start soon, but I'm going to have to do some testing before I actually sit down and record that. I do want to post one Path of Exile video, I think, before I start that, starting into the next year. But I think that'll be a fun experience. And then doing the Half-Life games. I've always enjoyed the Half-Life games, doing them over again, except with a little bit more challenge, being on hard difficulty. As frustrating as being on hard difficulty can be, potentially, I think overall doing Half-Life 2 on hard mode, it was still fun all the same. So I just feel like going into the next year, I really want to see if I can create some good stuff. So that's kind of what I'm rooting for going into 2020, and finally finish up Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. That game has been going on for almost 2 years, and I'm still not done with it. Not completely. Well, I'm at this point, I'm sort of waiting for the so-called winter update to come out for it. So hopefully that'll happen while I'm doing Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil 1, also, from what I've read, they recommend you start with Jill rather than Chris's character. I originally wanted to do Chris because it sounded like everyone did Jill, but it sounds like they also recommend you do Jill first just because of the story and the character. So I'm probably going to end up doing that. But that's sort of what I'm going to do next. So, is there anything else for 2019 that I want to add? Well, I think the only other thing that I'll add here is I really do want to, like I've said in some of my, I really do want to do more video game reviews. Next year, I want to do a review of all the wargaming games, World of Tanks, World of Warships, and World of Warplanes, as well as Armored Warfare, possibly War Thunder, if I ever get into it enough to even try it out. I have done War Thunder to a degree, but I haven't played it for a long time. I honestly didn't really like Ground Forces all that much. I thought the airplanes was alright, the aviation, and then they also have boats now. I mean, I'll see. But those are the main reviews that I want to get out. Those 4 games, and then also for April Fools, I wanted to do some World of Tanks stuff of all things. But anyway, I think that's a good amount to end on 2019, and as far as I know, the end of the decade. I mean, it's kind of sounds like some people think 2021 is the start of it, but I don't know. As far as I know, the end of the decade, and it has been quite an interesting year. Like I said, one of the hardest ones of my life as a whole, because there's been so many life changes in such, honestly, a short amount of time. Like within, I mean, since April, that's only 8 months, and my current life just flipped upside down, and that's huge. And now, honestly, I really don't know what I'm gonna end up doing. So let's just say a lot of things are gonna happen in 2020. I just don't know what. So hopefully, at least on the YouTube side of things, I can hopefully continue to improve. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and for the long-time viewers, thanks for sticking it out 2019 for me through that situation and throughout this year. And thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.